Hey friends, how's it going? Ash here. Welcome back to Gents. Hope that you're doing well. It's time to talk about a new Armaf Club de Nuit fragrance, and I mean an actual Club de Nuit fragrance, not the Armaf Club de Nuit private key fragrances. That's not a real Club de Nuit because the bottle looks different. And also it says private key. So this, no. It has to look like this. Go away. That's right, we're talking about the new Armaf Club de Nuit Oud, which just was released. And this one is quite a bit different than your typical Club de Nuit fragrance. And I'll show you why here in just a second. I got mine from Fragrance Buy. It runs right now about 65 bucks, maybe a little bit more. It depends on your conversion rate between Canadian and US dollars, whatever it is at the time. It may be a little bit more, a little bit less, but right around 65 bucks right now. So I'll have this one linked in the description below. And also you can pick it up from Fragflex. If you do shop there, use the code GS25. That will get you a buy one, get one 25% off, and it scales up. So if you bought 10, you would get 5 bottles at 25% off. That's good for the entire website. The first thing that we're gonna do here is check out the presentation. And there's a lot to it. A typical Club de Nuit presentation is pretty much a box and then a bottle. This one, they went a little overboard. So let's begin looking at some of the pieces of the presentation here. We'll save the bottle for last. So the first thing that you'll see if you buy this is this bag, which the box actually comes inside of. So you get this nice, very soft baggie, the little metal piece on the end here that says Armaf Club de Nuit. Decently hefty, actually. On one side of the baggie, it says Armaf. Then on the other, it says Club de Nuit, a collector's pride. And then it's kind of hard to see what it says down here. My personal possession, I believe, is what's written at the bottom. Club de Nuit, a collector's pride. My personal possession. All right.
Yeah, right.
But yeah, it's a nice little baggie that your box comes inside of. So that's piece number one. And then here is the outer box. So it says here on the front, Club de Nuit Oud Parfum, a collector's pride, Armaf, all on the front. Then on the back, got a lot of your information, your badge code, QR code, everything like that. So this is inside of here. And then when you open this up, you have another box. So you have a box inside a bag, and inside that box, inside the bag is this box, which looks quite a bit nicer than your typical Club de Nuit presentation. Yeah, a lot nicer. So it says Armaf right there on the front. You have this kind of velvety backing to it, and then it just opens up like so. It says Club de Nuit on the inside, Parfum, a collector's pride, just to really drive that home. Then a little cutout where your bottle sits inside of. But wait, that's not all. There's actually more that's inside here other than the bottle. These little dilly-dallies. So you have this little sheet of paper right here. I'll read it to you. Experience the epitome of luxury with Club de Nuit Oud perfume, crafted with the atelier's unwavering dedication to superior ingredients and exceptional artisanship. This exclusive fragrance embodies opulence. Immerse yourself in the intoxicating blend of highest quality oud, leaving a trail of captivating allure wherever you go. You also have this little card. Yeah, it just has a few different fragrances on it, a few different Club de Nuit fragrances. And then this, a little cleaning cloth. There's Armaf Club de Nuit in the corner. So you could use that to keep your bottle looking nice and fresh, or clean your eyeglasses or something, but you got that too. Like I said, it's a lot. Then we have the bottle, which from far away, if you were to remove the cap, it looks a little bit like Club de Nuit Man, because it's see-through and then has that goldish color on the inside with the fragrance itself. But when it catches some light, it gives off a rainbow color, kind of like Untold. So it's like Untold if you removed all the paint, but still had that reflective rainbowy feel to it. On the front, it says Club de Nuit Oud Eau de Parfum. It's kind of interesting because it says everywhere on here Parfum. And there's this little gold piece here and gold piece here on the front, down in the corners. And it says Parfum, but if you look underneath that little gold piece, it says Eau de. So, yeah. And then it's a 105 ml size bottle. The cap There has been a lot made about this cap. Some people saying it's absolutely hideous, freakishly ugly, etc., etc. I'm not really a big fan myself. To me, it reminds me of like a stone that you might see at a beach or something like that. One of those stones, those beach stones that's been worn away by waves and just erosion in general. It looks kind of like that. But yeah, it's definitely not going to be for everybody, that look there. Then on the bottom, you have a sticker, your badge code. And underneath the cap, on top of the atomizer, it says Armaf. Let's give it a couple sprays. It does look like the atomizer is a little bit fatter this time around, so it's easier to control your sprays. That's nice. So that's the presentation. I would say definitely kicked up a number of notches compared to your typical Club de Nuit release. The question is, what's it smell like? Yeah, so this one I covered in This Week in Fragrance before it officially released, and I talked about it a little bit. And there were some people saying that they thought it was going to be possibly like its own standalone thing, not necessarily a clone of another fragrance out there. You know, maybe it would be its own little twist, right? Well, it does come across like a clone, and interestingly enough, not a clone of a fragrance that is an oud fragrance. Yeah, strange. The fragrance is named Oud. This one in general, actually, before we jump into the scent profile, to me is a little bit odd because it's named Oud. Here in the write-up, it talks about how you'll have the highest quality oud, leaving a trail of captivating allure, etc., etc. Then you look at the presentation, and this box, you know, kind of a faux woodiness. So you could say, oh, kind of oud, right? But then the inner box, not really oudy, but you could say opulent, luxurious. And then the cap, it's something. Well, when you first spray this on, my friends, oud is nowhere to be found. No, this smells like Herba Pura off the top. If you've been around the channel for a minute, you know I'm not a real big fan of Herba Pura. I don't really like it.
I hate it, I'm out. Wow.
I don't wear it, I've owned it for a long time, but yeah, I'm not a fan. And there are a lot of clones out there of Herba Pura, to be fair, a whole bunch of them. So this one off the top, it smells like that. Very, very fruity, feminine for sure off the top, very feminine actually. Had my wife smell this one as soon as I got it in, and she was like, oh, that is 100% for women. Like when she just smelled it off the first blast. So yeah, you got a lot of fruits there, a lot of fruits initially. Kind of sugary, a little bit syrupy, but very sweet, very, again, feminine leaning. You've got peach, you have pear in there off the top, you got passion fruit, plum, again, just like a fruity melange, blast you right in the face. You've also got some floral notes in there, some white florals that come out pretty early on. I will say with this one though, that even though it's very feminine smelling initially, as it dries down, it does get more masculine smelling. Now, does it become like a masculine smelling fragrance overall? No, but I would say it goes from smelling decidedly feminine to like unisex as it dries down. And I think the dry down for me is a lot better, a lot better. I frankly don't like the opening at all, as far as just what I would wear. And again, that's because this smells really close to Herba Pura, and I don't like Herba Pura. If you like that fragrance, you'll like the opening of this one. I would say with like 95% certainty. But if you don't like it, I would say the inverse. Again, with like 95% certain. As it dries down though, it gets a lot better, a lot better. You get some more of like a warm sweetness that comes out, and like a fuzzy woodiness also. The white florals don't come across overwhelming in the mid or the dry down. You get a nice little touch of vanilla in there. But one thing that I never get much of is oud. Go figure. Even into the far dry down, where you can pick up some woodiness from the scent profile. Again, it's more of like a warm, kind of sweet, fuzzy woodiness. Not a real oud scent profile in there. You could maybe, you know, stretch your imagination and be like, oh, there's a little bit in there. There's like a tiny dab. I'm picking up a little bit, but not really much. And especially not if you're gonna name it oud, right? I mean, if you're gonna name it Club de Nuit Oud, there should be some in there where you can pick it up pretty clearly, but for me anyway, that's not the case. This is basically very feminine leaning Herba Pura clone initially that takes on a little bit more of a, again, masculine scent profile, but still smelling very similar to Herba Pura as it dries down. So you could think of it that way. You could think of this one as a clone of that fragrance that is like that one, more feminine leaning initially, that becomes more masculine as it dries, So kind of a more masculine take on Herbapura when you view this fragrance as a whole, which for my own personal taste, I actually like this and would wear this over Herbapura, simply because of the fact that it does get a little more masculine as it dries down, and I feel like overall smells better as it dries down as well. And I feel like maybe I could trick myself, Stockholm Syndrome style, into thinking the opening smells better because the dry down is actually pretty good. So I could work my way through that to get to the dry down and maybe eventually come to embrace it. I'm not fully sure about that, but maybe.
That's impossible.
I will say the quality on this does come across really good. Quality's great. In the opening, there's nothing here that comes across out of step. Everything feels well done. It's cohesive. The dry down is good. The blending is good. The transition points are good. Like nothing feels out of place. So quality-wise, I mean, it feels like a fragrance absolutely that's worth the price point. I mean, you get this kind of overdone presentation. Maybe you could have dialed that back a little bit and knocked a few more bucks off the price or something, but you're getting a good amount for your money. So really, honestly, there's nothing to complain about there. The quality is here, the look is good, the fragrance smells very, very good once you get past that opening, which again, the opening is not poorly done, just not to my taste. But I will say once again, to really drive it home, because I think it's a complete miss, the name makes no sense. For me, Club de Nuit Oud should be a fragrance that really is oud forward, oud centric. And you don't even necessarily have to make it a clone fragrance. You could do, like I was talking about at the beginning of the video, kind of do your own twist on it, right? Or do a combo of oud fragrances or something, you know? But to take oud as the name and really push it, you know, oh, a captivating blend of the highest quality ouds, blah, blah, blah. And then it's an Herbapura clone, even if it has a slight masculine lean compared to the original fragrance that it's cloning as it dries down, or actually decently more masculine leaning than Herbapura is for me. Yeah, it makes no sense. So I think the name is kind of, frankly, misleading. Yeah. In terms of performance here though, really good. This stuff projects, stuff lasts a long time off my skin. So you have no problem with that, or you will have no problem with that. 1 or 2 sprays will last a really long time. You'll be able to pick it up very easily. If you go heavier with it, it's gonna be a beast. It's gonna be a bear. And especially in the opening, that big old fruit blast, man, that could be a lot. That could be that much. So keeping in mind that performance, for me, this is gonna be more of like a cool weather type fragrance, more fall, winter, early spring. You know, when it starts to heat up, I think especially with how concentrated that fruity blast off the top comes across, I wouldn't wanna wear it in high heat situations, so keep that in mind. So yeah, on the whole with this one, I'm torn a little bit. Quality's there, the performance is there, the presentation is nice, the cap is a little bit fugly, but outside that, you know, you're getting an elevated overall presentation compared to your typical Club de Nuit. So that's all good. The opening I don't like, and then the dry down I do. The reason I don't really like the opening is because I don't like the fragrance that this is cloning. But then I do like the little twist that they did that makes it a little more masculine as it dries. So it's kind of a mixed bag. Overall, I think the positives outweigh the negatives for me. I would like to see some more high quality Club de Nuit releases come out in the near future. And I will say that if you enjoy Herbapura or Kirke fragrances like that, then this one you should absolutely check out. And if you like those fragrances, but you wish they had a little more of a masculine lean to them, then you should absolutely check this out. If you hate those fragrances, I don't know that this is maybe good enough to change your mind. So there we go, Club de Nuit Oud without really much oud. It's just a stupid name. If we're being honest, could have come up with a better one. Thank you guys for hanging with me. Stay safe out there. I'll see you tomorrow with another fragrance video. See you guys later.